Well, good morning, everyone. We got a lot of guests coming on and joining us. I see a newbie, which I'm excited to introduce to everybody here shortly, Mr. Iron Man himself, Andy Christensen. We'll let him give a hello in a minute. How'd you do this weekend, Andy? You're muted.
You're on
While
mute,
he's
Andy.
unmuting, everybody, if you can, please just turn your screen on.
Yeah,
We want to
thank
see
you.
your smiling face no matter what you're doing. Yep.
Good morning.
Andy, how'd you do to this weekend in your run?
Oh man, when you get to this age, you got to put races in your life or you don't stay fit. So I finished. Yes, I did a Spartan race in the mud. It was great.
Yeah, your picture a couple weeks ago on Facebook, I think my reply was something's not right if you want to be where you're at.
It's one of those things you look at and you're like, I'm not going in there. It's all mud. And then when
Uh,
you're in there, you're like, it's fine. And then you're like, I just want to get out and it's
I think it's
fine.
fantastic. I always want to
Oh, yeah.
do it, but I can't run these days, so I'm just not able to do it. All right, well, listen, I'm going to get started. Today's Monday, the 23rd of March. Eric Clark here, your host out of Atlanta, Georgia. This is your community. It's not mine, it's yours. It belongs to everybody here. And today we're going to do a couple of few things that I think are going to be both educational and informative and encouraging. Tommy Bracci from the Dallas-Fort Worth area is going to come on today and talk to us a little bit about 1031 exchanges. You know, we do this probably about every 3 or 4 months, let everybody get more acclimated with Tommy, his services, and what he does. So that's really important. I'm also going to feature and highlight today your very own Carson Jones out of Nashville, Tennessee. Let you share, Carson, in a moment, about some successes you've had just recently and your experience here to EXP. And then besides that, I want to introduce a couple new faces that may be new to you here. I want to make sure I'm keeping my screen open in case there's some new faces joining us on the participation. Just 1 second. I think I'm current. So as I look at the screen, a new face that some of you may not know would be Andy Christensen. Andy, why don't you take the floor? Tell us who you are, what you do. Tell us about the vision of Thrive Co-working, etc.
Hey,
Welcome.
I appreciate that. Good morning, everyone. And yes, Andy Christensen, Atlanta, Georgia. Great to be part of EXP. And our vision, we're co-working is what we do. I'm in one right now here in Duluth, Georgia. They're amazing, but we're different because of our hospitality. We don't like it. We don't hate any other co-working facilities. We just think we're different because we're like the Chick-fil-A of co-working in the sense we've got a lot of hospitality. What we're growing into is getting into and activating Class A buildings and turning those into kind of making offices great again. Is taking those old, outdated offices and reimagining them, activating the lobbies, putting a co-working vibe in there. And that's really our goal is we started a CRE company. I run it. And so it's with the co-working and we want to go into cities and markets and help revive some of these outdated, half vacant office buildings.
Yeah, it's
That's us.
fantastic. And Andy is going to be, how many locations do you all have today across how many states, Andy?
20 locations in 5 states.
Right. And so a goal is to have a commercial real estate presence either in residential or in commercial and in each one of those locations. Talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that.
In terms of just leveling up different cities and things like that,
Sure.
or yeah, our downtown Alpharetta, which is a suburb north of Atlanta, we started with literally 4,000 square feet, and we're about to hit 80,000 square feet just in one small suburban town. We love to activate the small towns. We're here in Duluth. Duluth, Georgia, they actually gave us this land and they paid to put a building on it. And it's A class plus class. If they looked at this building, toured it. And we want to do that everywhere that we can. We revitalize small towns and or buildings. And we'd love to be in every state in America. So if you have any buildings and investors or family offices where they're like, we have money. We had a guy call us last week. He said, I've got $7 million I need to 1031 exchange. Do you know anything I can invest in? We're like,
Ah, what
yeah,
a segue. That's fantastic. You just set the stage for the segue. We'll continue to come back to Andy and have more conversations about Thrive CRE as they map out and put out, all the different ways, all the different verticals they have where each of us can participate and or we're building revenue streams. So Andy, it's great to have you on the call. And
Thank
we
you.
just got to get Ramon completely boom activated. He's real close.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. All right. So Andy's got $7 million, Tommy. What in the world could he do with $7 million, and why would he want to talk to you, Tommy Bracci,
You
TB, the original TB from Texas?
I love it. Love it. Thanks for and joking aside, that is into kind of what I do on a daily basis. I know I've talked to most of one. But for those of you that may not know, or just for a refresher, I am based in Dallas, Texas, but I travel the country to put on 1031 exchange education. I also put on education for self-directed qualified plans like your solo 401ks and your self-directed IRAs. But the reason I put on that education is all roads for me lead to transacting in mineral rights. So, but that being said, mineral rights is the subsurface real estate. It's deeded real estate, just not your common sense flavor of it, right? But it's 1031 exchange compatible. That's why I put on the classes. It's compatible with those self-directed plans as well. Some of the beauty of it is maybe in Andy's case, he has $7,001.10. I can deed down to the penny in the mineral rights asset class. So it usually doesn't, my average transaction size is about $500,000 to $750,000, but we do accommodate transactions that are both smaller and significantly larger, like $7 million. Usually when I'm transacting in the $7+ million range, I'm working with a family office, but it doesn't really matter who you are. There's no cap on the dollar amount you can 1031 depending on your role. What I'm putting in the chat, it's an older picture of me. I should get it updated. It's from about 3 or 4 years ago. Not going to read it to you, but it's an abridged kind of presentation deck whenever I have 5 to 10 minutes to talk about 1031s and mineral rights. But mineral rights are passive. I make a lot of landlord tenant metaphors, or if you will, when I'm explaining it to people that are green. It's not a perfect analogy, but if you bear with me, you can think of yourself as the landlord if you own the mineral rights, and you can think of your tenant as Exxon or Chevron, for example. Instead of getting monthly rent checks, you're getting a monthly royalty check. The difference where the metaphor falls, it's even better than the tenant relationship because you have nothing to manage. You have no tenants or toilets or trash. I like to say that in my classes too. But you also in Texas have no property tax aside from ad valorem on mineral rights. That's a huge perk. The monthly royalty checks are also tax advantaged. There's a 15% what's called depletion allowance. In layman's terms, you're only taxed on 85% of what you get. Now, I do share the stage oftentimes with some friends of mine that offer Delaware statutory trusts or other fractionalized ownership or ownership in like multifamily and things like that. I share the stage politely with those guys. But candidly, my returns are better. I haven't seen anybody in that space saying 12% is a really bad year. 12% ROI in the mineral rights space in the Permian Basin, which is where the majority of our properties are, would be a very, very year. People are made whole on this asset class from their initial investment between year 3.5 and year 5. I won't dive into the weeds here, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are two primary variables here, or risks, if you will. They're going to sound like common sense after I say them, but it's the price of oil itself or natural gas. The price of oil goes up, your checks are going to go up. But conversely, if price of oil goes down, then the next month's check will be less. The other variable, again, will sound like common sense, but it's production volume. How much oil is coming out of the ground in a particular month, right? Production's up, your check is up. Production's down, then that monthly check will reflect a lesser amount, most likely, assuming you're holding the price of oil static, right? Because there are the two variables working at the same time. That might be more information than you wanted me to dive into, Eric, but where it really benefits folks potentially on this call is, we're all in the real estate space in one way or the other, commercial or otherwise. You might have a 1031 exchange that's $20 million, but they have $301,000 left over. Great. Make an introduction for me and for yourself, because I remember can deed down to the penny. So you're not going to find anything most likely at that $301,000 price tag that you're going to find savory. But you also don't want to lose about $100,000 of that to capital gains. Excuse me, fighting allergies over here. To capital gains taxes. So that's where I come into the conversation. I don't try to talk people out of their replacement properties. I ask you what you're doing with that leftover amount or that boot money. And what's in it for you is, as real estate brokers and agents, it's real estate. So I can get you 3% on that referral. And you can kind of save the day for your client as well, because now they're not getting hit with capital gains and they're getting cash flow. So I'll kind of leave it at that. There's something in it for everybody. I put a PDF into the chat. It'll hit the highlights for you. Happy to take any questions or elaborate further if you'd like, Eric.
Yeah, I have a question. I've got someone that says they're waiting in the waiting room, and I don't see anybody in the waiting room. Jeff Merriam, you with us? I don't see you waiting. Tommy, what if somebody, they've got the 1031, they've got the funds, and yeah, they just want to park the money for 6 to 8, 10 months. What's the time period it has to stay with you to avoid capital gains? In other words, if I've got an extra $7 million and I throw it into you, how long does that have to stay there in order for me to avoid that so I can take it and invest it into another like kind exchange property?
Sure. So it's not really a contra thing, but not really a hard line in the sand. Now, generally speaking, what you see is people say wait a year and a day. That's usually what a qualified intermediary will tell you. There are exceptions. If you get what's called an unsolicited offer in less than a year, just document the unsolicited offer and you're good to go from a 1031 perspective. Now, if you have it listed before less than a year and then you get an offer that way, that's not unsolicited. And if you get audited, the IRS will not be kind to you. So the short way of answering your question is, generally speaking, it's a year plus a day for 1031 requirements. That's not my requirement. That's not a mineral rights requirement. That's a regulation. But it's also a loose one because, like I said, the exception being if you bought mineral rights or even another piece of real estate via 1031 exchange, and then a week later, you get an unsolicited offer, just document it. Here's the unsolicited offer. I'm accepting it. I'm 1031ing out of this property, whether it be mineral rights or something else. And you're good to go.
But if I get with you, with the identified, you put it in mineral rights, and then I have an opportunity to go into another like kind property. Can I piggyback from one to the other and avoid or no?
I want to make sure I understand the question, but so if you
I'm probably not asking it right.
No, you're all right. You're right. And interrupt me if I'm explaining a different point. But so I do describe this as a parking sometimes, depending on the client's circumstances. You might, let's just say apartment buildings are your bread and butter, right? It's what you trade in, it's what you know, it's what you love. But your back's against the wall. For those of you that don't know, you have a 45-day identification period in a 1031 exchange. What that means is from the moment, or the day, I should say, that you sell your relinquished property, you have 45 calendar days to identify a property or a couple properties that you're going to exchange into. Sometimes I'm the backup or the parking place. This parking place analogy in direction, so I'll explain both. Scenario one is I being mineral rights might be your second choice. It's not familiar to you. Apartments are your bread and butter. So you've identified an apartment complex as your number one property, as your first replacement property, I should say. And then as a backup, you identify my mineral rights, just in case you lose confidence that you're going to be able to close on that apartment complex. You can do that. Once day 45 passes, you can't add new properties to your identification list. But anything you've ID'd is still fair play for 180 days. You have 180 days to close on your identified properties. That 180 days does not start at the end of your 45 days, though. It starts at the same time. So know that. So it's two concurrent clocks start when you sell that property. Your 45-day identification period and the 180 days to close, they start at the same time. But now, once that 45 days expires and you're like, I've lost confidence I don't think I'm going to be able to close on this apartment complex. Good thing I identified a backup. I have Tommy's mineral rights ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and close on that. That's the point. That's the luxury of identifying multiple properties, whether it's mineral rights or not, right? The other parking place kind of analogy that I use is, let's just keep going and say that apartments are your bread and butter. You know for a fact you're not going to be able to identify. You don't even bother identifying apartments because you know you don't have the time to do the due diligence that you need to. You identify the mineral rights. You put your Andy puts his $7 million into mineral rights, and he's like, "Look, love the returns, but my underwriters aren't familiar with it. We're going to 1031 out at a future date just to keep our portfolio or our investors happy, whatever your scenario is. You can 1031 out of it. So you've kind of parked it for a year, so to speak, or maybe 6 months and you got an unsolicited offer from your mineral rights. Maybe I want to buy it back from you. Who knows? Right. That can serve as a tactic to save a lot on capital gains and get cash flow in the meantime. So, Eric, I think one of those two answers addressed your scenario, but keep me honest.
Sure. Anybody else have a question? Floor is open. All right. I'm going to introduce our next guest, but before I do, so Carson, you're next. I see a couple faces on here that might be new to the crowd. Andy, you already said hello. Joe, I know you. I've met you on occasion, but I'll let you introduce yourself. And Jackson, you do it as well. Anybody else that's the first time here, and if I've missed you, just speak up. We'll go around the horn. Joe, you, and then Jackson next.
All right, so I'm Joe Grant. Out here in Virginia, but I'm relocating to Kentucky. Currently in residential, but looking at shifting over to commercial. And Mike Wiseman invited me to kind of check the place out.
I appreciate you being here. You know what? I had you confused with a friend of mine down in Alabama. He's got the same, but he rolls it really nice right here. Yours rolled, so but it's great to have you here, and thanks for inviting Joe to join us. You guys are working together?
You bet. We're in a lot of different masterminds together. Yeah. Joe's a great agent then. Yep.
Fantastic. And Jackson?
Well, yeah, it was. I think it was last week before I was on the last 10 minutes, and so I was in residential. I've been involved in commercial, just not as an agent. So kind of learning the aspects of the commercial, but I've kind of just learning how to move from commercial into residential, just because I've been working on a few other different things. I'm more on the recruiting side of things, and then some other business things that we have. So yeah.
Where you located at, Jackson?
Aha, yes. Northern California and moving into the Nevada, leaving California into the Nevada area.
Awesome area. You're up early. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
How far north are you, Northern California?
Oh, where all the orchards and cowboys live. North Chico, north of 2 hours north of Sacramento, about an hour from the Oregon border.
I spent a summer as a river guide on the Klamath River, way north, when I was a young man. It's one of my favorite summers I ever had.
Oh yeah, no, I was up on the fire. I drove a water tender for Cal Fire up there.
Yeah.
That's a great area.
So we're going to go to our second guest today. Jones, we met via social media, my gosh, months and months and months ago, connected. Carson, share a little bit of your story, what you've done in the past, and then share a highlight of the closing you just recently had. And if you want to share a screen, whatever you want to do, the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. I've mainly raised capital for real estate, oil and gas. Have some familiarity with what Tommy does. I've raised a lot of money on oil down there in Texas, and just started transacting on the commercial real estate side. I've mainly raised capital on apartments, so I'm really familiar with those. And, just like working hard, want a deal to happen. So this actually, the one you're talking about is a mixed use. I really like the new properties that are kind of unfamiliar to me because it's allows for a little more creativity and not the same old apartment complexes that you see. I'm also raising money on industrial a bit off and on down in Texas. It's for a developer, but that's probably like once a year. It's not my full-time job anyway. So anyway, I do want to show this property. This is a property that Andy would like a lot for co-working. Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Please.
Let me do that. I'm just going to pull up there.
I don't think I need to give you permission. There you go. You got it.
Hold on. Okay, you can see it now.
Sure.
So this is mixed use. It's right across from downtown in downtown Knoxville. It had this side over here's the office. There's retail here, and then there's warehouse over here. Had a lot of co-working places look at it. If you look at the inside, this little retail area, it's really nice. And then
Cool spot.
you go to the office side, it's got like it would have been perfect to come in and do new floors for co-working and then a bar on the other side. So on this side, this is the warehouse side. The guy that actually bought it's going to turn it into a bar. So this step down right here is perfect for a patio down in this area, and those are the front doors are right out there. So, but then it's got so the city's going to build a walking trail on this back side. So he's going to do a patio out back over here, and I did like a little AI rendering for the listing, what can be done there. So it's a cool little listing. We put this in there with, just put a little fake bar in there for the AI generated, stuff. But it's a very unique building in where it's located. We had like 3 offers within a day. The thing about this property is it only appraised at 1.3 million. And then they had a second appraisal done at 1.5, and the owners were like, we want to list it at 1.8. And I told them I think they should go ahead and list it for 2 million. I said part of the problem is will the financing go through? And then a guy that had been that was like a family friend, had been looking at it in the past, came running in as soon as it was listed and offered a full pop. And we had two or three backups. One was cash. So I kind of wonder if we should have gone up to 2.3 million. But then again, it's like they just had an appraisal at 1.5. I'm wondering about the financing on it. So, but the financing, the bank took loan inside. They did it. It wasn't one that they repackaged and sold. They just kept it in house. So the financing went through and it closed and all that. So it was a good, clean deal. Couldn't ask for better owners. They're really, really kind of stressed out. One of the owners was, the lady's husband passed away. That was partners with the other guy, and they were just looking to downsize it and take it to one of their smaller locations and kind of cash her out of it and retire. So kind of a stressful situation, but they were easy to work with, and you know, at the end of the day, the transaction was smooth and they were pretty happy. So anyway,
Andy, is there additional property that could be built and add the building could be?
I'm confused. Is it for sale or it just closed?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Congrats. It's a cool building. We generally need 15,000 or more square feet to make our properties work.
Okay. I might have one up in Kingsport.
Cool.
Actually, a
It needs to
couple of
be
them.
there need to be amenities around it. The way properties work is it's high hospitality, like a Chick-fil-A would be compared to a Subway or a McDonald's. We put a lot of hospitality in there, and people that stick are because there's amenities around it, like small towns, vibey areas. We bring the vibe up and then it works. That's a very vibey place. That's
Yeah.
a cool building. I have
Oh, it's
envy of that building.
well when you look at it online, it's kind of deceiving because it's right across from downtown, and then it's like this little warehouse looking building, and then
That's supposed to be.
when you get there, you pull down the hill, and it's literally like right across from downtown, and everything around it's like new developments. It's
Yep.
pretty exciting area. I'd like to live there, but you know. The other thing that's odd about it is there's like no comps in that area. Nothing's sold in the Knoxville area within that downtown area, that's really comparable. It was really tough to find any kind of comps on it. So, but yeah, that made it tough, but it is what it is. I guess they have comps now that that's sold. So,
Right. You've set
so
the standard.
yeah, it's probably only going to go up based on the way that town's booming. It seems to be just thriving. So,
Carson, tell us a little bit more about the fundraising efforts you do.
oh, Class A industrial is what I'm really focused on now. The apartments are harder. There aren't that many good deals, to be honest with you, that come around, but The industrial, it's $5 to $10 million raises. I don't raise all by myself. I might raise $1 million. It's for people that want to participate, as passive investors. It's brand new, Class A. It'll be in like really nice booming areas like, the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex. The last one we did was in a little town right outside of Dallas called Melissa, one of the fastest growing communities in the country. I think they went from like, I'll just throw out a number like 8,000 to 25,000 within 5 years or some crazy number.
It's
Great
blowing
school
up.
districts. Does that sound right, Tommy?
Yeah, that's probably close to true. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, Melissa's exploding.
Yeah. What's the one right below it? Anna?
Anna,
Yeah. That's where the Bucky's is, right?
the new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I got a question for you, Tommy. Jackson asked the question.
Oh.
You're muted, sir. Jackson, you're muted.
I removed the lower in the hand and forgot to mute. So real quick, Wiseman brought me in here. I wanted to clarify, we've been working together, co-sponsors and different things. And so, particularly for Tommy and Carson, as I came from a money lending background, hard money. And then, so I kind of wanted to make sure I reach out to you guys eventually. But we do a lot of venture capital, kind of angel investing in a lot of products. Not so much myself in the private money. So just to kind of let you guys know on that. And then Tommy, I've got a couple partners in a company known. We do, I don't touch the project, but we build THC cannabis extraction oils. And we've got a couple big products in Minnesota and New Jersey right now. But our CEO partner of mine, it's out here in California and Nevada doing a lot of gold claims, silver and gold. I want to talk to you that because as we move into Nevada, I'm going to be looking into a little bit of that. But
Sure.
just as I saw Carson doing money raises and different things, and so that's actually where my background. So
Very
Yeah.
cool. I'd be happy to chat with you about those.
I want to give everybody my cell phone number. Write this down: 770-878-7334. 770-878-7334. Greg, for some reason, I do not have your email address. I know it's here because you're getting the emails, but it's not on my contact list. Joe, I'd love to hear from you. Jackson, please send me a text, send me your contact card. So I'm asking everybody to send me your contact card, if you would, after this call. Something I want to touch base with you on, and I keep saying this to you. I want to challenge everybody to think of yourself as three things. See yourself as an architect of opportunity. I'm going to read what I think that means, okay? Just something I've come up with, but I want you to think of yourself this way. And I've been saying this almost every week recently. Architect of opportunity. You design and build pathways others may not see. You analyze land use, capital flow, market timing, and relationships. You don't wait for opportunity. You construct it. See yourself as an architect of opportunity. Facilitator. See yourself as a facilitator. You remove friction so people, deals, and ideas can move forward. You simplify complex situations. Don't just, someone tells you can't do it, say, oh, okay, we can't do it. No, go around. Find a go up and over. Find a way to plow through. Find an alternative direction. You create clarity where others see confusion. You facilitator. I tell you what, commercial real estate's difficult. I'm dealing with two fantastic individuals right now I've come to know over the last couple of years. I really appreciate them, respect them. But I tell you, going through the process of selling their property has been challenging and difficult. And it's something that they grow weary of and they grow tired. And their points are legitimate. Their concerns are legitimate. Their emotions are legitimate. Their feelings are legitimate. I have to be that facilitator and continue to simplify what's complex. I have to clear where the confusion is and honestly and with integrity keep them on track of what they ultimately want to do. But emotions and feelings can come in the way. And Jeff, you've been doing this for a long time. You've seen it. You've seen it where your client grows weary, right? So see yourself as a facilitator. Then lastly, a trusted connector. You understand what is needed and when it's needed. You bring the right people together with integrity and discernment, and you earn trust because you align interest wisely. You're going to meet some people on the way, and you can be as sincere as possible, but something may take place where they misread you and they may form an opinion. You can only do your best and you can only represent yourself as honest as you can. Sometimes people don't have the whole picture and they form an opinion. But being an entrusted connector or a trusted connector simply means you strive to bring trust and you strive to align your interests with what's best for that person. And you do that in your deals. Greg, you do it in the architect field. Michael, you do it as you lead a team. Andy, you do it as you grow out and roll out Thrive CRE. So I want to continue to encourage each of you to see yourself as an architect of opportunity, facilitator, and a trusted connector. I want you all to realize this is your platform. This is your community. This is the place for you to share what you need, what you want, what you're looking for. This is the place where people need to know who you are. Michael, need to know about your marina for sale. Andy, need to know where you're looking for your next site. Tommy, need to know, we got your 1031s covered. Carson can help raise money. Andy's an architect. You need to be known. This is your community. We do this for each other. So I'm going to go around the horn now as we close. A want, something you're looking for, or just a question, or you got a situation right now that's frustrating you want to talk about. Floor is open. Floor is open. Everybody's world's perfect. Nobody's got a concern.
I'll put this out there. There's more than this, but Atlanta is the bullseye. Midtown or downtown, Centennial Yards, West Midtown, Buckhead. We want something in the city to complement our suburban expertise. Class A or a vibey co-working space. We can make them both work. If you know anything, holler at me, please.
Fantastic. Anybody else?
Just to let you know, I'm an architect here in Atlanta. I've been here since 1979. I've got like 50 years of experience, commercial and retail. So yeah, I think I ought to get together with you guys, Andy.
Let's grab some time.
Make help to each other. Little projects like that, adaptive reuse, we do that all the time, even in the city of Atlanta.
We're looking at the airport right now, of all places, but I don't want to bore everyone else with that. We'll grab some time. I appreciate you saying that. Greg Mix.
Yep, I just put my contact info up in the chat.
I'll grab it.
I've got 11,500 square feet down by the airport. It's a 22,000 square foot building. Half of it is occupied GSA, 15-year lease. They're not going anywhere. They've already been there 15 and re-signed for 15. I don't know if it would work for you because it's more of an industrial area. But if there's somebody looking for large space like that around the airport, freight forwarders, logistics people, even autism groups, whatever, that need a lot of space, we will build it out, or we'll help you build it out depending on cost, of course. But if that's something that might be of interest, Andy, I'll send you a flyer on it and you can take a look and go, this is what we want, or no, it's not what we want.
Yeah, please do.
And it is a Class B building, one single level, lots of parking.
Hey, you never know.
Right.
It just depends. Jeff, you're always into something interesting.
I'm trying, man, I tell you. As Eric said, it's a constantly changing platform, commercial real estate, and I'm trying to move with the changes too. So I'm getting into other stuff as well as trying to help people sell their businesses too. So I mean, I'm kind of scattered, but I think it's all going to come together at some point here and lead me in the right direction.
Speaking of, Jeff, I've got somebody that's looking for a laundromat up in the Blue Ridge Mountain area or north of there. So if you know of a laundromat for sale, I've got a possible would-be buyer. Michael, when you get your marina information, please forward that to me.
Yeah, so I have
no, you're close.
Yeah, I have the preliminary offering on my hard drive right now, just tweaking the numbers. I'll get it to you either way today. Either way, it might not be the final, but it'll give you a good idea. It's about a 10 to 11 cap on about 2.65 million offer is looks like. And again, he wants it out on NDA, which is pretty standard, right? So, because it has some owner add backs in it, things like that on it. And then we have, we just coming up, 2 options for a like day spa or a salt spa in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. It's actually Lake Norman area. and just finished running numbers on that. Smaller operations, probably something, two of them probably selling in the $80,000.
Dana Flanagan.
Nothing
You need to
big.
reach out to Dana Flanagan.
Yeah. Okay.
You have her information?
I'm sure I do. I've seen her name come up a lot. So yeah, I can do.
Let's do a we'll do a
I can track it
three-way.
down.
You
Yep.
remind me, send me a text. I'll set that up.
Okay. Yeah.
That's who you want to talk to.
Okay, cool. I just sent the report I made. He gave me kind of a thumbs up on it, so we're ready to kind of be showing that a bit. So
Okay.
yeah, cool.
Just FYI for everybody, Tommy and I, we are continuing trying to source some rare property purchase properties that are for sale. They're tied to mineral rights. We've got everything from a gold mine to water rights. You may have some interesting investors that you know of. If you do, just give us a call and find out what all's on our radar screen. We've got some interesting properties from 18,000 acres of mineral rights in Kentucky to 300,000 hectare rights in Argentina to water rights in Texas to a gold mine in Montana. And, again, seeing yourself as an architect of opportunity, who's in your network that might have an interest in these properties? Reach out to Tommy now and we'll have a conversation. Unless anybody else has something beautiful and, really important and wise you want to share with us, we're going to come to an end for today, but share with us what you have. One more round.
I just
One
put
more
up my
round for anybody.
contact info there. And I'm registered in 5 states. I have reciprocity. I can get registered in other states fairly quickly.
When you get your real estate, Greg, when you get real
I
estate
gotta get to
license.
work on that.
All right.
But it's like 75 hours of classes you have to take.
Yeah. You can knock it out in about 2.5 months. Do it online.
Yep.
Joe's a pleasure to have you with us today. Jackson as well for the second time. Thank you for joining us. You're always welcome here. Carson, thanks for sharing. Congratulations on your close.
Yep.
Tommy, TB, always a privilege. And hey, have a great week. Feel free to reach out anytime. Please, Joe, Michael, Greg, text me your contact information, please. I want to make sure we're connected. All right. Everybody have a great week. Bless you. See you.